Today we're going to interpret the Fool using the opening of the key spread. Now we know the meaning of the Fool card. It's basically sudden changes, new starts, new beginnings. But in this lockdown phase of the world at the moment, the Fool is going to have a different meaning and connotation. And we're going to use a tarot deck to explain and illuminate what that full meaning might be. We start with the opening of the key spread and cut the cards into 4 piles. And we turn them over. We have the 8 of Wands reversed, the Ace of Wands reversed, the Sun reversed, and the 10 of Wands reversed. This just shows you that the power of the tarot at the moment. So when we look through the cards, we find that the Ace is actually in the first pile, the past pile, which is interesting, and where it should be, funnily enough. So when we look at the top 4 cards, we immediately see how much fire there is with the 8 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the 10 of Wands. All 3 are reversed. And in the worries pile, we have the Sun card. The Sun represents happiness, the family, general good feeling, and when it's reversed it shows problems and sometimes death. And we're in this phase in the world where death is a prime concern, of course. So the 8 of Wands is swiftness, that's communication. Yes, we heard about the virus, but we didn't do anything about it until it affected various parts of the world. Then suddenly that changed. And we've resulted in this picture of being trapped at the moment in lockdown. The 8 of Wands is communication. When it's reversed, it blocks communication. Then for the desires, we desire for a new start, a new beginning. But again, it's the Ace of Wands, which is the beginnings of actions, and it's reversed, which shows this blocked energy manifesting. And the Sun, as I say, is the fears, and this is the desire for happiness, which we don't fear we're going to get. And then for the 10 of Wands is oppression. Oppression is allowing other people to keep us down, to intimidate us, which is exactly what's going on in the world at the moment. We start by counting the Fool, and for the Fool we count 3, which takes us on to the 9 of Discs. And from the 9 of Discs we count 9 onto the 9 of Cups, and from the 9 of Cups we again count 9 onto the 3 of Swords. Then we count 3 onto the 7 of Discs, and then we count 7 onto the Queen of Swords. And from the Queen of Swords we count 4, which takes us to the 8 of Wands, and from the 8 we count 8 again, which takes us to the Adjustment card. And from the Adjustment card we count 12, which takes us to the Hierophant. And from the Hierophant we again count 12, which takes us to the 9 of Discs, which completes the loop. Then we count the Fool in the opposite direction. We count 3 from the Fool, which takes us on to the Queen of Swords. And from the Queen of Swords we count 4, which takes us on to the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups counts 5, which takes us on to the Hierophant. And from the Hierophant we count 12, which takes us on to Adjustment. And from Adjustment we also count 12, which takes us on to the Star card. From the Star card we count 12, which takes us back onto the Fool. So this completes the loop. The Fool counts onto itself. So now we count from the future position. From the 10 of Wands we count 10, which takes us on to the Knight of Wands. For the Knight we count 4, which takes us on to the Lovers. For the Lovers we count 12, which takes us on to the Seven of Cups. And from the Seven of Cups we count 7, which takes us back onto the Ten of Wands. We have another closed loop as the Ten of Wands counts back onto itself. Now we're going to count the Ten of Wands in the opposite direction. So starting with the Ten of Wands, we count 10, which takes us on to the Ten of Discs. And again we count 10, which takes us on to the Prince of Swords. Princes count 4. So counting from the Prince, it takes us to the Princess of Swords. Princesses count 7, which takes us to the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords counts 9 onto the Seven of Cups. And from the 7, we go on to the Lust card. From the Lust card, we count 12, which takes us on to the Three of Cups. And from the Three of Cups, we go on to the Two of Cups. From the Two of Cups, we count 2, which is the next card, the Six of Wands. And from the Six of Wands, we go on to the Prince of Wands. From the Princes we count 4, which takes us on to the Four of Discs. And from the Four of Discs we count 4 onto the Five of Discs. And from the Five of Discs we go back to the Lust card. This completes the loop. The Lust card is such a powerful card of power and energy. So the outcome is a very positive picture. The Lust card relates to August and Leo. End of July, beginning of August is the sign of Leo. So things could change dramatically before then. So that's the picture. You can count from the other cards as well. And also there are other patterns there that if you study you'll find them. And they'll bring you extra information as to what's really going to happen.